Welcome to Learning Gym. Today's lesson is number bonds. So what are number bonds? It is basically the different ways you can split up a number. And why is it useful to know about number bonds? Well, it is one of the fundamentals of adding and subtracting. This means it will make counting a breeze. Let me demonstrate. Let's take the number 3 for example. The number 3 represents 3 items. In this case, bees. Now, let's imagine we have got 2 pots. And now you'd like to place these 3 bees in the 2 pots. There are a few ways you could do that. You could put all 3 bees in pot A. This means you can split up the number 3 into 3 and 0. This can be shown in the diagram. Or you could put 2 bees in pot A and 1 bee in pot B. This means you can split up the number 3 into 2 and 1. You could also switch the bees around. So you could put all the 3 bees from pot A into pot B, but the number 3 will still be split into 3 and 0. In the same way, you could put 2 bees from pot A into pot B and leave 1 bee in pot A. Either way, the number 3 is split into 2 and 1. Here is a summary of all the ways you could split up the bees. What you would notice here is that in all cases, no matter which way you place the bees, there are still a total of 3 bees. So the beginning of a branch is called the total number, and the ends of the branch are the parts or ways in which you can split the number. As you can see, it doesn't matter which direction you place the 0 and the 3, because whichever way you place it, the numbers still add up to 3. In the same way, if you put 2 bees in pot A and 1 bee in pot B, or 1 bee in pot A and 2 bees in pot B, it doesn't really matter, because it still adds up to 3. We can use the information in the branched form to tell us a few things. The first thing is that you can add the parts up to make the total number. For example, if you have 3 bees in one pot and no bees in the other pot, then you'll have a total of 3 bees altogether. You can show this by the maths equation 3 plus 0 equals to 3. The number bond can also help us find any unknowns in the number bond boxes. For example, if the total is given as 3 and one box has got 3 in it but a question mark on the other box, then you know that the other box will contain 0 bees. You can show this in a maths equation. 3 equals 3 plus question mark. Because this is an easy question, you know that the answer will be 0. But a better way to do it is to use the total, which is 3. You know you have that much bees. Now, you can imagine yourself putting 3 bees into one pot, so that would be minus or take away. And you know that you are taking away 3. So you place a 3 after the minus sign. Now you add an equal sign at the end. Now you can solve the equation quite easily. 3 minus 3 or 3 take away 3 is 0. Let's try it with splitting the bees the other way. If you were to place 2 bees in one pot, how many bees will there be in the other pot? This can be shown as 3 equals 2 plus question mark. In order to find what the question mark is, we need to think of it as having 3 bees to begin with. Then, placing 2 bees in one pot, that means taking away or minus, so it will be 3 minus 2 equals. 3 minus 2 is 1, so we know that the question mark is 1. It is very useful to learn number bonds from 1 to 9 because this will enable you to do addition and subtraction really quickly. Here is a list of all the number bonds from 1 to 9 that you should strive to learn. I did not include 0 and the number itself because that's too easy. It is also useful to learn number bonds of 10, as that can be extrapolated to counting larger numbers and money more easily. As you can see, 10 can be broken down to 0 and 10 or 2 and 8. On this slide, 10 can be broken down to 1 and 9, 7 and 3, 4 and 6, and 5 and 5. I've also compiled more useful number bonds from 11 to 19, as these are really useful for counting larger numbers, and I think you should really try your best to learn them by heart. Here I've got the number bonds for 11 and 12. So the ones that I've not boxed up are pretty easy to remember. The ones that are boxed up are the ones that you should really know, because when you do additions like 8 and 3 in column addition method, you would easily know that that makes up 11. You don't need to spend time counting. Here are the number bonds for 13 and 14. The ones that I have boxed up again are the ones that are crucial for you to know. The others are relatively easy to remember. And of course we have 15 and 16. As you can see, the boxed number bonds are getting smaller and smaller. For 15 you really only need to remember 6 and 9, 7 and 8. And 16 you need to remember 7 and 9 and 8 and 8. The rest are relatively easy to remember, as we've done so many already. Here we have number bonds for 17 and 18. And really for number 17, the only really new one is 8 and 9. That makes 17. And 18 is 9 and 9. But you probably know that from your times table. Finally, we have the last set. Number bonds for 19. 1 and 18, 2 and 17, 3 and 16, 4 and 15, 5 and 14, 6 and 13, 7 and 12, 8 and 11, 9 and 10. You will see as I go down the list that it gets easier and easier. And you probably practically already know this from the previous number bonds. Please make sure you learn all the number bonds so that you know them by heart and have them at your fingertips. If you do like my video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Bye for now. Till the next time, keep practicing.